Hey guys, this is Ed from Mission Ed Possible. Welcome back to this week's episode of EdPossiHAUL, where I go over all the retro goodies that I've been getting lately. Let's get into it. This week, let's see, starting off, we have some Atari stuff. I wore the right shirt, I guess. So we have a flashback. I believe this was a flashback 1, but I don't know the difference, to be honest. This is the first flashback I've actually ever had. So actually, I'm actually kind of interested to check it out because it's one of those things that I've always avoided them like the plague because, well, I've got the real stuff. There's no point in using a flashback, but it's kind of neat. All right, next up is Sears Video Arcade 2, which is a rebranded 2600s Junior, a Junior, and so yeah, I never actually had a Sears either. It was always one of those things that it was always odd to me that Atari had to do, or didn't have to, but they did this deal with Sears to where all the 2600 stuff was also out under Sears Telegames. What's interesting is that it doesn't say Telegames on it, it's just Video Arcade 2. Not sure on the branding. And last of the consoles, we have a Light Sixer. This is actually in really good condition. The knobs are, actually pretty shiny still. This will clean up really nicely, I think. So yeah, it's really rare to see them in this good a condition. So I'm pretty excited. Okay, next up, got a whole bunch of manuals. This is kind of a motherlode of manuals. So one of the things that I tend to do is I try to match up cartridges with manuals so that it's a lot better for the buyer to say, hey, I want to have the manual along with the game. There's actually some 5200 manuals too. So that actually is nice because with the 5200 stuff that I got, I didn't see any manuals with them. I guess they were lumped in with the 2600 manuals. There's a Lynx manual too. Don't have a Lynx yet. So, cool. Got a bunch of games. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before, but there's a Zonox Double Ender. So Zonox decided to make games, 2 games in one, so you can flip it between the games. These are pretty uncommon. I've seen a couple of them before. And usually I see Chuck Norris Super Kicks. This is Spike's Peak and Ghost Manor. We also have the Single Ender Ghost Manor. These are huge cartridges. Yeah, pretty cool. So let's see if I can kind of set it up so you can see a couple of pretty rare titles here. Strategy X, I know, is more rare. Kubert Cubes. I haven't seen that one for the 2600 before. We got MASH. Pretty good selection here. These are more of the rarer games. And we also have more. A couple of these that I have not seen before, things like Squeezebox. So these are US games. That was an interesting company. They made a game, so Egomania, and then Name This Game. So this game right here was kind of an interesting one. It's one that I had back in the day. I got it as a gift from some relative for Christmas, I think. And it was always interesting to me that it didn't have a proper name. It was Name This Game. So that's all I ever knew it as. There was a contest to name the game. And unfortunately, the contest never finished because the company went out of business. Apparently it did get named, I think in the UK as Octopus, which is kind of a very generic name, but whatever, it does eventually have a name, but this one does not have that printed. I'm not sure if anywhere actually printed with that title on it, but let me know in the comments if you have seen one. Let's see if there's any other notables in here. Word Zapper, Space Jockey. I'm always looking for the third-party ones. Those are the ones that tend to stand out as far as rarity and the ones that are cooler. So this is VidTech. Space Jockey, Word Zapper, Sneak and Peek. We got a couple of those. Let's see. Pitfall 2. This is probably one of, or my favorite game for the 2600. And it was interestingly about this game, this actually has a special chip in it. David Crane, the author of the game, wanted to have better sound for the 2600 version of this game. So he just made a chip to put in the cartridge to be able to give it the better sound capability. So these go for a pretty decent amount. And so, yeah, this one's actually in pretty good condition considering it's an Activision game, which most Activision games look like this. This has a bad case of what is known as Actiplaque, very aptly named. Basically, the glue that they used, I believe, basically would seep through the label and just make it look bad. And there's nothing you can do about it. And they weren't the only ones. Epic's with Winter Games, this has a similar kind of deal. It's really unfortunate because looking at some of these games, there's nothing you can do about it. Fishing Derby, and then they decided to do a wonderful job of taping the end label on there. That is unfortunate. Not much I can do about that because when I take the tape off, it's going to rip the label off too. We've got a later title, Real Sports Boxing. I don't think I've actually seen this one before. Got a 7800 game, a boxed version of one-on-one basketball. On the computer, it was actually named, had the really long name of Dr. J and Larry Bird Go One-on-One, but they decided to just change it to one-on-one basketball. I used to love this game as a kid. I only played it on the computer though. I never played it on the 7800. I never had a 7800 as a kid, and I don't have one now. But this guy that I bought stuff from, he had this on the shelf. He's like, can I throw this in? And so sure enough, so I have a 7800 game and no console for it. Also, this is kind of interesting. At this garage sale I was at, the guy had a little Tupperware container full of these little PCBs. And I looked at them and I wasn't quite sure what system they were for, but you can see these are cartridge PCBs. And I was like, what is the story with these? Some of them have a shielding on them, which, to be honest, I haven't really opened up 2600 cartridges before. And so I was asking the guy what was going on, and he said that he had opened up cartridges because he wanted to make keychains out of them. And I have a real hard time with that. That seems really bad. I mean, I guess maybe if they were all copies of Combat, fine, but some of these actually have labels on them. This one says Star Master, and it has it's copyright Activision. I mean, that's actually a pretty decent game. I don't know why he would have taken the case off. I think almost all of these are 2600. I did see some that were wider. Let's see. So this one, offhand, I'm not exactly sure what system this is for. I'd have to compare it with other systems. But if you know, definitely leave a comment. But yeah, I thought this was kind of interesting. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I guess one of the thoughts was to go through, test them out, and if there are any rare games, then actually try to make a repro of it. I don't know. If you have any ideas, definitely leave me a comment. They're interesting. I could put them on my wall or something. I could make a keychain out of them. But I don't know. I mean, I'm looking. I don't see any with the secondary chips on them, like Pitfall 2. And I believe, did that have a Pokey on it? I'm not, definitely correct me if I'm wrong, which would be very useful. But otherwise, I don't know what all these are. So it's going to be interesting to go through and just identify what they are. And I don't know what to do with them. If I could give them away. If you guys think that would be a cool thing, let me know. If you think it'd be cool to just give these out to viewers, definitely. If you want one, let me know in the comments, and we'll see what we can do. Next up, we have controllers. So let's see, we have a Spectra Video. Third-party controllers are always kind of interesting to me, just to kind of see how they stack up compared to the first party. Most of the time in more modern generation of consoles, the first-party controllers are almost always better than the third-party controllers. It was always the third-party controllers are the ones you give to your little brother. The ones that are the crappy ones that are just, obnoxious and weird and all that compared to the normal one. The third-party ones back in the day, for the most part, in my opinion, some of them were good, some of them were bad. The Spectra Video, I think, is kind of a meh. This is your favorite controller, let me know. We got some standard CX40s, lots of those. Let's see. This one's kind of interesting. I don't know what the brand is of this one. If you know, let me know. But it's pretty generic, single button. I guess you could use, for left hand or right hand, so that's kind of neat. But otherwise, it's kind of a goofy looking joystick in my opinion. So this was a flashback joystick. I don't know what the model number is, if there is one, but the one that has the Fuji logo on the upper right. These are actually pretty good from what I've seen. They are the ones that are reissued, but the construction actually seems very similar to the standard CX40. I haven't cracked one open to take a look inside. Looks like the feet are molded on instead of rubber, but I don't know if they hold up any better than the standard CX40s. A bunch of paddles, a video touchpad, which was, I believe, mostly only used for Star Raiders. Of course, there was an overlay that I don't have. A gem stick. This was a pretty decent third party as far as I'm concerned. Pretty decent joystick. More paddles. More and more paddles. This one's missing the knob. All right, well, I got two sets of paddles here. These right here, I believe, were the ones that came with the original Heavy Sixer. The ones that don't say paddle on them, they just have the symbol of tennis racket. So that's kind of neat. I don't think there's any other difference between those and the standard paddles. Definitely let me know if you know of a difference. Another CX40, a slick stick. I know this was a favorite of some people's. It's got a really good action to it. It's got a really short throw. If you can see that, you can tell it's moving, even though I'm not hardly moving it. It's not micro switch space, but it's got a pretty good reaction on it. Then we have an Archer. Oh yeah, wonderful. Archer was always one of those brands that, I don't know who made Archer, but it was kind of like Radio Shack kind of stuff. It was kind of like, yay, the Archer version of something. But funny enough, it actually has micro switches inside. So this actually might not be too bad. The 7800 controller. I gotta say, I actually like these. They have a really short throw, not micro switch, but and there's a little bit of play there, but it feels good in the hand. It was one of those things that's, I never had a 7800 as a kid, so I didn't really play with these much. I believe that you can use this just like a normal 2600 controller. You just would only use one button. So I have a 7800 controller, a 7800 game, but no 7800. The flashback controllers, it was basically, you can kind of tell, it's like kind of modeled after the big ones here. Now these I like. I actually, it's small, but I could actually see using this in place of maybe my standard issue command control, but I'm not sure about the pause and the select. What that sends as far as the pin out and stuff goes. But this was for the Atari Flashback Mini 7800. But neat little controller, actually. And now we have a Wiko controller, which, as you know, that I love Wiko products. This thing is heavy, and you can just feel the action on this trackball. It just feels super nice. This is arcade quality in my opinion. Trying to play a game like, say, Centipede or something with anything less would be very difficult. This feels really nice. This is probably going to be a keeper Be nice. I think this is, I believe this is yellowed. I don't think that it was originally yellow. I think it was white, but that might be something I can clean up. I don't know. Definitely let me know if you've ever restored one of these. We have these. I think I might have seen these in a magazine or something. I had never seen them in the flesh. These are Atari Space Age joysticks. They are first party and they just look cool. They're has a trigger on the bottom here. This is kind of a weird little thing here where your hand goes and then the plug goes here. I don't know why they didn't just come out the bottom, but it's just neat. You can use it left or right-handed. It kind of reminds me of those weird ColecoVision controllers, but looking around, these seem pretty rare. If you've ever dealt with these, let me know, but I actually have a pair of them. So that's very cool. I'm pretty excited to have these. I don't know if I'll keep them or not, but I definitely need to clean them up and make sure they work and all that. That's all I have for today. A big Atari haul this time. Thanks for watching. And if you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. I post new content all the time and I wouldn't want you to miss any. See you in the next adventure. Take care.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of this kind of content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. I post new videos all the time and I wouldn't want you to miss any. If you'd like to see more of this series, be sure to click up here. And if you'd like to see something else, be sure to click up here.